Hi everybody, it's Anne Lewis, your Stampin' Up independent demonstrator. Tonight I'm bringing you Stamping Like a Boss, but this time I'm going to do it a little differently. And I've kind of going to be experimenting as we go along. But this is the Christmas card that I made, and I was going to demonstrate how to make this card tonight. And then for some unknown reason, I decided that I could make it a little different. So now give me a couple of secs to set up my iPad. Oh, now, do you like my new grid paper? This comes from On Stage, which was just on the weekend. Hi Glenda, hi Renee, hi Wendy. Lovely to see you all. So I'm going to show you basically how to make this card, but then I'm going to, I suppose, step it up a little bit, and I will then show you how to do this on a slimline card. Now I haven't even designed this card yet, because I'd cut this one. Hi Nola, lovely to see you. Hi Sharon. Now I'd cut out to do this one tonight, but then I just went, I don't know, I just wanted to show you a different way of doing it. And it's going to look a little different than this one because it's not going to have a center. So I'm going to have to work on how to center it. And I've got embellishments that I think will work really well for that. So now this card, I'll show you what I've done. So this card is 8 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's in shaded spruce, which is probably one of my favorite Christmas colors. Then I've used Sahara Sand, which is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got this Whisper White layer, which is 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/8 inches. Hi Robin, good to see you all here. It's lovely to see everybody. Don't forget to leave some comments around for me. Let me know what you like. Now, do you like this card? Because it's kind of got that little bit of a wow. And when you see how easy it is to do, other than I'm going to step mine up a little bit, you're going to love it because it's using what I would call one of our basic dies, which is the stitch-shaped framers, but you could just use your circle dies. Now, to make this one, I have used, wait a minute, I have used, it comes with four circles. So for this one, I've used the 3 larger circles in the stitch shapes. In the next card I'm going to show you, I threw this one out, not threw it out, but got rid of it, and I added the smallest one because I needed more room, because I'm adding 3 to the card. Now, I've done a bit of die cutting beforehand for the next card, but let's just keep going on this. So I've also got a strip of Sahara Sand across here. I've stamped in I got it before, spruce, shaded spruce. And I used this stamp set that I haven't used this year, but I used it a fair bit last year. And there's a couple of things about this stamp set that I absolutely love. Hi Sue, how are you? I'm using the Snow Globe Scenes, Still Scenes, which also has a set of dies with it. And that's the sentiment that I've used. I've also used that in the background just to reduce the amount of plain white space that I had. And actually I just remembered that I was looking for something before I went to air. I didn't find it, but that's okay. I can show them to you in a different way. So this is what I use to do the stamping part of it, but this is just the paper, and it's the paper that I've been showcasing the last couple of nights, which is the classic Christmas designer series paper, which has these, I mean, traditional colours, Sahara sand, shaded spruce, and I think it's cherry cobbler. It is. And obviously the Whisper White. So I use that to do this, but I thought, look, really, I'm going to step this up and see if I can actually extend this and do a more interesting card. Not that this one isn't interesting, but I show you how to do this anyway on the other card. So I'll just put that out of the way. Now the designer series paper I'm now going to be using it hasn't even been released yet. It's going to come out next year, and it's called Dandy Garden. Now, I have to be honest, I just love the patterns in this, and yes, I could have used some Christmas paper, and I could have used some of my, even out of the annual catalogue, but I love this paper so much. It's called the Dandy Garden. It's 6 by 6, as you see. I've chewed into this a fair bit already. But I love the colours. It's Misty Moonlight. I'll just check what my colours are. Basic Black, Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow. And I love those colours. Tonight I'm going to be using the Bumblebee and the Mossy Meadow. Now the Bumblebee's an in colour for this year and next year, but I'll just flip through these and you'll see they're very earthy. They've got a floral base, and I love them. So these are the ones I'm going to be using, but I thought I'd change it up again. Hi Emma. And I'm going to do a slimline card, which is so trendy at the moment, and I thought I think it's a nice way of changing up, and your slimline cards just fit into your long business envelopes. So it's not the envelopes aren't stocked by Stampin' Up, but you can get them at any stationers or even at like Woolies and Coles, etc. Hi Myrtle, how are you? Now, so a slimline card. Actually, I could have used the thick Whisper White, but I've actually used I don't like saying the thin Whisper White because it's not thin at all, but the standard Whisper White. So it is, I'll just show you, as you know I do, it's 7 inches wide, and it is, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember now, I had a little play with it. Oh, of course it's the width of A4, so it's 8 1/4. So 8 1/4 by 7 inches. So you only get one of these cards out of each A4 sheet. I've then used my trimmer, and I've scored at 3 1/2, which is where I got that really nice score line. Then this piece is, because this is now 3 1/2, which is half of 7. So 7, half of that is 3 1/2. So this, I've got a 1/4 inch border basically. So it is 3 1/4 inches by 8 inches. And I'll just double check that. I don't want to mislead you. Yes, 8 inches. So 3 1/4 by 8 inches. So that's going to sit on there like that. And then I'm going to bring back this card just so you can get an idea of what the design is going to be. Hi Polly, how are you? Hi Heather, hi Suzanne, hi Rita. Welcome to, I've got a few new ladies watching tonight, so thank you very much. And I think you're going to really love this card. As I've said, I was originally going to make this tonight, and at about 6:30 I changed my mind, and I thought I'm going to step this up because slimline cards are so, everybody's making them at the moment. And I thought, well, I haven't shown you how to do that yet. Now, I'm going to find the center of this piece of cardstock. And it doesn't really matter when you're using a pencil because you're not going to even see it. So half of 8 inches is the 4-inch mark. So I'll just put it roughly in the center. So I'll have a little cross there. And then half of, let's see. So I'm probably pretty lucky here. I've got a 1cm one that is really easy to halve. So it's just over 8 centimeters. So I'm just going to move this over. And whoops, there's my half there. So I'm just going to draw. Now, I always recommend, I'll just get that out of the way because I'm going to be working on this layer, is that you actually line up, except my grid paper is a little small for this, but to make sure that you get it nice and straight. This teaches me to use a fancy, really nice grid paper. I don't know whether you know this, but everybody can buy grid paper because it's such a handy, our normal one, which has the inches and the centimetres and is full size, so not divided like this one. So I've just drawn across in the actual centre of this, and you'll see why I've done that. I'll put these 2 layers aside. Now I've pre-cut my papers, so remember they come from the Dandy Garden. Now these actually have a bit of a pattern on them, so I want to try and keep, when I cut these, keep them with the pattern. Now I'm going to show you a really nifty trick. I've shown you this before, but you may not have realised this. One of the fabulous things about our trimmer, and I'll just bring out my trimmer in. And you see I've finally got my wood grain back out of storage. Now I want to cut each of these circles that I have pre-cut using the cut and emboss. I want to cut these into half. And so I've got a top and a bottom. I don't need sides, I need a top and a bottom. So I'm just going to center this, and I can see on these lines here how to do that. Now I need 3 of these. So I had to cut the second one. I think I've got enough cut, but we'll see. Oh, now I can do all these at one time, or if they fit on. And this is one of the fabulous things about this trimmer, is you can cut these all at one time. Whereas with our previous trimmer, there just wasn't enough grip in the... I'm making sure I'm cutting these so there's a top and bottom, placing it in the center. Oh, look, I am going to get all these cut out at one time. Oh, maybe not. Pretty close. Just have to move these up a little bit, but you're going to love this trick. Well, I don't know that it's a trick. A feature, that's a better way. So I'm just getting the cutting arm, slipping it, clicking it in. You heard it click, using my cutting blade. Now, I see sometimes people are pressing out here, and that just shifts that middle bit. So you actually want to be, if you're going to use your fingers, which you don't really need to, but I just can't help myself, is you're going to press right in the middle, and then it can't move. So I'm just going to zip these down and see how they all stay there. Oh, Vicky said she's sent off to Stampin' Up that we'd like some slimline envelopes. That's a great idea. Rightio, so there's my bits. So I'll get rid of the trimmer. Get it out of the way. There's a fair bit on my desk at the moment, as there always is. Bring this back. Now, the way these work, and I'll bring this card back so that you can see. So on the first one, and I'll talk about this being the first one, we're going to be lining it up like that, and then putting this, look at how these colours go together, aren't they amazing? And then this one is going to be the reverse of that, so it's going to go like that. I love these colours. It's just such, it's quite traditional in lots of ways. So all I'm doing is moving it to one edge. So the centre one is going to be to the right. The one on the left is going to be to the left. See, I got that wrong. Lucky I thought about that. That's going to then line up like that. Now this is not, remember I said, this is not going to work exactly the same as that because I've now got 3. And the 3 won't magically line up. So it's going to look a little different. And these I don't need. So that's how it's now going to look. So it's got a different flow about it than this one here. Because as you see, it's thin at both ends and thick in the middle. This one's going to have a little bit different. But I've got a way of balancing that out. So let's put it on the card. This one's going to go in the middle. This one's going to go over here. And this one's going to go here. Now, the way this is going to work, it's going to look a little different, as I said. But you'll see how easy that was to make that really. So I could have just left it like that. Move that along. Use the big dies. And it would have looked really nice. I just felt I wanted to see what it would look like with the 3 on it. And I wanted to do a slimline card. And this was a great way of showing you. And I could have a little play. No, it's got to go that way. It's got to go thin, thin, thin. Oh, actually, might just go like, no, I like the other way. See, you sometimes have to have a little play to see which way you like it. I know, so as you see, it's going to have a different flow, but I expected that. That's why I said something really early in the piece. I'm just looking for my adhesive. Oops. So I'm going to glue these individually first and then put it together. Oh, I like that side too. No, stick to the plan, Anne. It's got a bit of, obviously left the lid off at some stage. Maybe there's none left. Looks like there's none left in that one. I always have a spare, or 2, or 3. Oops. It's hot. It's a little, well, it's not hot here tonight, but it's a little warmer than it has been. So we're going to slide that one right over there. Now I like using the multi-purpose glue for this because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Now this bundle, which has a stamp set, I'm going to put all this back together, comes with a gorgeous Dragonfly punch, which you're going to see in a second. So, now I think there's a number of different ways you could do this. I mean, you can, the great thing about card making is you can actually play with them. see, it's so easy to get this pattern on that first one. So it's going to look like that at this stage. Just got to move it over a little bit. It's not even going to have a centre, but that's why I've got some little embellishments that I can add that will offset how that's going to work. Sometimes it's nice to not have everything in balance. Because certainly I think there's lots about life that isn't necessarily always in balance. So what do you think of this paper? I love the earthy tones of it. As I said though, but it's got the bright tones as well. Now I've got to move this over just a little bit. So I've got a centre. So I've got the same, at least I've balanced it side to side, even if I haven't balanced it. I did that wrong, didn't I? Must be why I have a spare piece here. I need it at this end. Now I'll show you what that looked like, but I don't like that, so I like this way better. Must be why you always have a spare piece somewhere. Now, on the weekend on stage at home, which is basically our convention, but because of Corona or COVID, we all did it online. And it was still pretty darn good. It was great training. We get great training from Stampin' Up. Even for me, who's been stamping for a while, there's always lots of things that you can learn. Just sliding it over till I get to what I think is a centre. I'm going to have to rub out those lines. I've got a rubber here, which for those that don't know, I hadn't used my, I have to remember where that spot was now. As with all of these, now I'm not going to glue them down yet. So that's how it's going to look. So it's quite impressive just having those patterns on the plain bumblebee. Now I have the stamp set that goes with this is Dragonfly Garden. So I've stamped this, I've embossed this in white embossing powder. So for those that don't know, and that's how it's turned out. Now this is one that just has the embossing, the Versamark on it, and I haven't embossed it, mainly because it wasn't going to cut out because with the punch. But I'll just punch these out, and I will come back and I'll show you what I actually did. Now it's such an easy punch to line up. Now I don't know that I'm going to need all of these. Now with our punches, hi Gail, how are you? With our punches, I always say, somewhere there's a little dragonfly, little green dragonfly. Now, because this punch is quite a big punch and it's got this little one up here, got to be a little careful, and sometimes you just got to snip off some of the paper so that you can punch out what you want. And you can see I still can't get it in there, so I'm just going to trim it down just a little further. And obviously the same is going to happen up here. I have to say, since I've got to this new house, I have this huge bin at my feet, which makes it so easy. Rather than those, like a little bin, I can just chuck it over and it always lands in the middle. Now for our punches, if you're not used to them, I always say you actually punch them. So you don't squeeze them gently, you don't squeeze them slowly, you punch them. And that makes them really easy to use, and they're not hard. So I've got another little green one there. And then we've just got this last one here. I've still got a little bit too much. You don't want to cut off too much around it because you still want a handle. But if you can't fit it, if you can't, if you haven't got enough paper scrap there to do that, you can always just stick a little post-it note on it and use that as the handle. Which I thought I might have to do tonight, but I don't. So we're just kind of going like that at this stage. We're not going to need those little green ones. I'm going to punch out some little white ones, and I've got some scrap paper here. I'm just watching how this is. I'm just going to punch a few little white ones out. Then I can work out how I'm going to do this. So I've got a few options here. So you now can see how I at least design. Now, lots of people already have a design in their head. It's not how I work. I'll bring this one back here. I've got to kind of experiment as I go. It doesn't always work, but I can't picture the finished product. So I'm going to put that there. And then you actually don't notice the... I might put that there. We'll see. I'll put this down first. But I want to do some stamping on the background. And you see on this one, it has some little dragonflies, or they look little butterflies actually. I'm just going to do a little bit of, I'm just going to get a block here, of stamping tone on tone. Otherwise I've got a lot of white space here. But I'm going to actually use, now Versamark is actually called the Watermark stamp set, and you're going to find out the why. Because it's a really neat way of getting just like a little light colour, and it looks like you probably used the bumblebee, the same colour as the background, but you haven't. I'm just going to put these up in the corner up here. It's very, very subtle, this. I'm not sure you're even going to be able to see it. I'll put it, so it's just one of those little features. Now I'm just going to shift these off, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see how nice that is. So it's just got some little yellow butterflies. You can just see it very faintly, I think, in the video. So that makes it a little more interesting. And, oops, there's a bit of scrap paper there. And I think I'm going to put, oops, I've got to get a sentiment on this yet, but I might put that on a separate piece of paper, but we'll just see. So I'm going to actually, with those little butterflies, because I can see, I can start here and go up as well. So most of this will be hidden, but on this side of the cardstock there'll be a very faint pattern. So it's just a nice way of taking away what I would call white space, even though in this case it's bumblebee space. Hi Marnie, how are you? So we're now just about getting this together, and I'm going to stick those down, and then I'm going to put some, got some twine here somewhere which is hidden. I've got it all out here on my desk. And I'll put it really handy so I know it would bite me. But anyway, I'll stick these down while I have a bit of a look for it. I'm hoping someone can actually see my twine, but none of you are helping me with that. Okay, so what I've done is I've made sure that either end of these finish in the same spot. So that's about there, and I want to rub that last little bit out so nobody can see that I've used a pencil line. And these are just going to have that little tiny overlap, and this is going to have a bigger overlap this side. So let's stick it down. Remember, this gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Some of those butterflies that I just stamped are going to be hidden. Oh, thanks, Marnie. It's a great tip because we all have the Versamark, and we don't even use it for what originally, well, not so much originally, but what one of the original uses of it was. Obviously, it's mostly used for the embossing powder. There we go. Just got that like that. So you can see it's looking a little different than this one here, but I love how these colours are coming together. And I can't find that ribbon, which is sitting. I hate it when I leave something. Oh, here it is. There it is. So I will put this around here. Oops. Hi Kathy, how are you? Hi Glenda, how are you? Lots of people. Now I've got into a rhythm on the Monday night, which is good. So this is the braided linen twine, and I love it. It really is nice. I'm going to make sure it doesn't shift, I'm going to put a thin bead of this. Now it's thinner than our double-sided tape. If it was a little thicker, I would have used our double-sided tape. So I'm just going to run a really thin bead. Haven't been using this glue lately, so don't want a lot to come out, just a tiny bit. So this just tidies up this edge to give it a soft edge. Put that there. Now I might tie a faux bow on this in a couple of secs, but so I want it nice and tight and straight. Now when I get it over the back here, I'm going to use some of the double-sided tape, which I did bring out. Now for double-sided tape, I do it really simply. I always put it down this way, then I don't have to line it up too difficult. It's pretty simple. And I can stick it on the Whisper White cardstock as soon as I do this. Oops. Now, if you're having trouble peeling the backing off, which quite often happens in hot weather, just use your bone folder to burnish it a little. Grab your pokey tool or you pick it up. Then if one end doesn't work, try the other. It's pretty old. here we go. Easy as. Don't use my double-sided tape that often. Not a great. I use, oops, don't want that. Take that off as well. And I may as well, if I'm going to do double-sided tape, I may as well do it everywhere. Which, just remember, double-sided tape is not forgiving at all. So it's not like my multi-purpose glue. And the other thing about multi-purpose tape, though, is if you do get it wrong, the good thing about it is if you apply a heat tool to it, you can actually reuse that piece, and it just lifts up really easy. So you can see how this little pokey tool, how it makes it so much easier. Anyway, now I want to bring this around. I want to get it nice and straight. I want to keep it on the straight. And I'll just trim this off. Same on here. So this is why I like this long ways, because I can do it from the front and make sure it's nice and straight. Hi Karen, how are you? Oops. Okay. I'm going to stick that down. Get it right in the center. Now the way I always make sure I get it in the center is I at least make the top and the two sides even, and the bottom actually takes care of itself. So we've got a, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I'll have to find another way of doing this. I'm going to tie a little bow. Not sure where the bow's going to go yet, but I think there's going to be a bow on this. I was going to put a faux bow, which is so much easier than tying a bow, but look how easy that was to tie. Oh, that's fabulous twine. I love it when you can just tie it that easy. I mean, I might tie a lot of bows, but that was super, super, super easy. So, we've got a few things to go on here. And I don't know where they're all going to go yet. I don't need to use them all. I've got a sentiment to go on. Only one of these little... So I just kind of move things around until it gets to how I want it to look. So I like that there, and I'll pop that up. I might put him there. Oops, him. How do I know it's a male dragonfly, do you think? I don't know. I'll keep trimming this little bow. I don't know that I want another. You're going to have to vote and let me know. But I do need a sentiment on here. And the sentiment's going to go up there. And it is this one here. I'm going to stamp it on a Whisper White sheet first, and I can see what it's going to look like. And I can see the size, and I can make a decision whether... So, isn't that a lovely font? Thank you for your kindness. I find those ones, Stampin' Up, some have amazing ones acknowledging kindness. I'm just going to fussy cut this. And, oops, and as you see, I moved the paper. Don't need all of that. And we're going to see how this fits on and whether it looks better. Hi Lindell, how are you? Oh, like that. I like that like that. I like that like that. There. So I'm going to pop that up. Have I got any big dimensionals? I've got a new pack here. I'm doing a little bit of crafting lately, which, as you know, I was shifting and that wasn't happening very often up until now. But now I'm back crafting, and I've got lots of plans for next year. I'm going to start some online classes, so if you've been missing your crafting fix and can't get to classes, this is going to be a good solution for you. So I think, oops, maybe that just there. Hi Lee, how are you? Then we're going to put that Dragonfly. Now, one of the things for me for design, because I know everyone asks me, how do I decide what goes where? I'm going to use this one. This is a little nicer Dragonfly. It's a little crisper stamped. Everybody asks me, you know, well, how do you decide what goes where? And I'm going to show you just, because I mean I could put that up there, but then you got that ugly space down there. So I would always make sure that, and I mean there's always an exception to the rule, but I would make sure that it actually sits and has a really nice angle to it, and it somehow lines up. Oh yeah, this one's there, and you can see it actually needs something here. So I'm going to put that there. So I knew I needed that bow, and I need some glue dots. And I'll just put that on there. So I don't ever use my fingers to take it off. I then just use that cover sheet to press it down, peel it off, and that's going to sit neatly there. Love. What do you think? Do I need any more? I need a little, oh, one of those little dragonflies got a little knocked around. What do you think? Need something more? Come on, let me know. What do you think? Should I add a little white dragonfly somewhere? What do you think? Nobody's helping me out here. So I'm going to grab some more. I cut a few of those dragonflies a little short. And I must have another little piece here. Now this set also has some of the most gorgeous, two more small, so Sharon says two more, and I think I'm going to do two more, but Nola likes it as it is. And this is about that personal, see, I'll keep doing that. It's going to have no bow left yet. So this is where personal taste comes in, or not taste, it's just what appeals to you. So I'll put these on with a little mini one. And a little mini one. Yes, a few small dragonflies. So the boat has been a few, nice, a bit different. And that's why I wanted to do this, because it's not that standard card. It uses our designer series paper beautifully. Now, remember, I want this to look a little different. Whoops, that's not exactly where I wanted it, but that will work. Anyway, so there's the card. Now I've got to do something on the inside. And for me, I would be doing these little butterflies, but this time my butterflies are going to be in colour. So I'm just going to stamp off the Versamark. Nice scrap piece of paper that I had here. Clean it up because it all doesn't come off. Oops, sliding my paper around. And I've got this Mossy Meadow ink pad sitting on my desk somewhere. Here it is. Now, for those that know me, know that I can't ruin good grid paper. And I can't. I'm hopeless. So this is going to be a really, really subtle little corner. You know what happens, don't you? The more you do, the more you have to do. Oops. I know. So I'm just going to do a little corner on it. Ah, Jesus. Trying to keep my hands out of it. And then so I've got thanks for your kindness, and then on the inside you're an inspiration. Nice sentiments in this. Just going to grab another block. So there's something completely different, and you can see how I design. And remember, everybody will design things differently. Some people will sketch it out. Other people will do it like I do and do it on the run. So I'm going to get this nice and straight on my grid paper. Just stamp in the centre. Now I could have put the dragonfly on the inside. Could have put a little strip of paper. But the problem with my paper was it was 6 inches by 6 inches, whereas my card is 8 1/4 inches. So there you go. So here's the two cards, and how different actually are they? They just don't look anything the same, but it's exactly the same technique. So now you'll know how to do this. This one I used ribbon to finish off those edges. This one I just used a strip of cardstock, but I could have also have used a sentiment, which I think I've got a sentiment sitting here. On this one I could have put that there as well, but I chose not to. Oh, I'm glad you like this card, and now you can see how easy it is to design your own cards, and really it is just about having some fun. And sometimes just taking a risk and having a go. Because I had no idea how that card was going to turn out because I hadn't put it together like this. But it works. But you do need something to balance it up. And that's where those dragonflies and the sentiment actually works, because it gives it that little bit of a flow. And it kind of flows. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Oh, hay fever. It flows so, strongly from left to right. So Nola likes the first card. I like both of them. This is a Christmas one, and it will be one of the cards that we do in my Stamper Stack later this month, which I'm about to release all the details. Thank you, Margaret. Adios. So thank you. Don't forget, if you're missing your classes at the moment, hi Carmel, if you're missing your classes at the moment, that we also have a Christmas paper pumpkin all-inclusive kit, which is the Joy to the World, which is available from my online store. And don't forget, I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to contact me. That's what I'm here for. And my phone numbers and everything have stayed the same. It's only my address that has changed. So thanks everybody. That took a little longer than normal, but it had a few more bits and pieces to it, and I had to have a little bit of a play. But I love this. I just love the colours of it. And I don't know, it's got this really earthy finish to it, and I think just having those colours, the dragonflies, It just is. I like this card, and I can't wait to send it to someone special. So thanks everybody. See you next week, next Monday night. And as you probably guessed, last week I did a few extra Facebook Lives, which I will probably do again this week as I'm crafting, because I'm not doing anywhere near as many classes as I was yet. I'm just waiting till next year to start again, but I'm having a few. I'm having one in November, and I will have one probably in December as well. And next year I will also start scrapbooking classes again. So, and I've already got my first layout clearly in my head, which isn't always the case. Now I just want to show you, I forgot to show you these. These are some of the cards we made on the weekend using that same designer series paper. Look how different they all are. And I don't know whether you can see these little ladybirds. That was what I was missing. I was looking for the little trinket box of those, and I've obviously put them somewhere safe. I haven't got really my craft room completely organised. It's getting there. In fact, it's getting so much better. But these are just, I love these. Got a little carried away, I put 3 on. And so you can see how nice this set comes in the misty moonlight. There's some mossy meadow and also the blackberry bliss. And then the same colour combination that I've used tonight. So thanks everybody. See you next week. Bye for now.